Good afternoon. I'd like to kick off the Education and Planning Committee this March 4th, 2026 at 4:31. And initially, are there any comments or concerns about the committee meetings from February the 4th? Hearing none, we'll move on. Dr. Urbatus would like to join us for the enrollment. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
So in your packet is the enrollment update from February 20th, and I will provide a verbal update for February 27th, this past Friday. So total credit enrollment, including Gemini, is at 18.7% increase. FTE is showing a 12.8% increase. And when you include non-credit state aidable, headcount enrollment has increased 21.7% and FTE has increased 13.4%. Are there any questions? Trustee Cushman.
Hope the mic is on. Doesn't say up there.
Doesn't sound like it.
Just to clarify, those large increases are due to the more effective way that we're registering our Gemini students.
Correct.
Thanks.
Through Kanuja. Thank you, Dr. Nye, for clarifying that.
It's a rather high amount. Just want to make sure that
Yes.
it will probably equalize, normalize.
It will equal, that's an excellent point, right. In the past, prior to the fall 2025, we were using manual registration process with the one-stop center specialist processing paper registration forms. It's now all fully online. Trustee Cushman.
Thank you, Dr. Urbatus. So full-time has stayed flat, which is an accomplishment in its own right with the cliff. Part-time is approaching 50-50 split. So where do you see this going in the next couple of years? And how do you see your department adjusting to these changes for your outreach?
We see adult learner enrollment as a significant driver for the future. And we know that part-time adult learner enrollment is significantly part-time. So this will continue to be a driver, and we will have to find new ways to compensate as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol. Sarah Whiffen, there she is. Supporting students, a look at the single stop at FLCC.
Do I advance it with this? Okay, perfect. Good afternoon. I'm happy to stand up here and provide an overview of my colleagues' work within the Center for Student Wellbeing and share what we have been doing with one of the strategic grant projects approved last year. At FLCC, we know that academic success is deeply connected to students' ability to meet their basic needs. Single stop is one of the ways we remove barriers quietly, efficiently, and with dignity. Just so you have a general sense, in the spring of 2025, approximately 150 unique students were using our basic needs. In the fall of 2025, over 270 unique students used basic needs. And to date, we have almost 138 in 6 weeks of spring. So it's clearly a need, and we want to make sure students have on-demand tools that allows them to see what supports they may qualify for without having to ask, explain, or navigate complex systems on their own. In slide 2, there we go, is available when students need it, not just during business hours or moments of crisis. A student is exploring whether a student is exploring supports proactively or responding to a sudden financial disruption, the screener meets them where they are and gives them immediate actionable information. The screener works compatibly on computers, tablets, and cell phones. So how it works. What's powerful here is how simple the experience is for students. They answer a very short series of questions about their household and expenses, and then receive personalized results almost instantaneously. From there, they're not just told what they might qualify, but they're then guided to the next steps. And you can see on the next slide, it did not come out quite as nice. There was supposed to be like an interactive Google map. Think about that, right? Where you get the pins and it shows you where resources are. That was supposed to be the background of this. It didn't translate as well. And one of the strengths of Single Stop is that it recognizes support doesn't stop at our campus boundaries. So students locate community-based resources that are relevant to their exact situation and geographical area. And that's the key here. This works across the United States. So if I'm living in Virginia and there are Virginia resources near me, they're giving me Virginia resources, not Canandaigua resources. So we're meeting the students where they are, and we know more and more students are coming remotely and from other locations, and so this really is built around them. Once they have identified, picture a person working with someone on the telephone. That's the backdrop of this one. Like SNAP New York. So you would get the back end of SNAP New York. It would talk about what the benefits are and how the eligibility alone isn't enough. The real challenge is navigating the applications and maintaining those benefits. So the guides that pop up to the students about the various things that they are eligible for talk directly about why SNAP benefits are a good thing to have and why a student would want to apply for that. So these guides are quick and they speak to the actual service that the individual may receive. And these guides help them not just what they qualify for, but how to apply, what documentation is needed to supplement if there is some, and how to sustain support over time. The key is to reduce drop-off and staff burden while supporting student self-advocacy. While Single Stop is student-driven, thank you, it doesn't operate in isolation. Our team receives high-level data that allows us to follow up intentionally, not intrusively, and to offer help when students want or need it. It allows us to look at the trends and gaps so that we can continuously improve our support systems. The service also provides gentle nudges back to the student if they haven't taken action yet, or if they haven't completed their application, and on a timing basis will say, hey, this is still out here, can I help you finish it? The important nuance, while we know what individual students are using the services, we see patterns, not personal financial details. So students don't have to disclose to us. We don't necessarily know exactly what a student is sharing in financial or personal. We're balancing the privacy with proactive care. And nationally, Single Stop, which is, as I said, across the country, has demonstrated very measurable impact to the communities that they serve, unlocking significant financial resources for individuals and households. Another key point, if I am signing up for Single Stop and I am a single mother with 3 children, they would consider that 4 people that they're supporting. We get a nuance on how many households, or we can disaggregate it later, but that's an important distinction. So they're talking about every human that is being touched by this service. What matters here isn't just the scale, but the credibility of the model. We're leveraging proven approaches rather than building something from scratch. And as you saw here, with limited communication to students, in a relatively short period of time, we're already seeing meaningful local engagement. The data reflects who our students are: young adults, small households, many balancing financial responsibilities, and it reinforces why accessibility, flexibility, and support tools matter. Someone told me I had a typo and they said the average household monthly expense is $860. That's wrong. That's too low. And I said, no, a lot of these students do receive supports already. So realize that this takes into account everything the student might be receiving and then tells us what the monthly household expense might look like. So again, just to reiterate, we have about 138 students that we're already serving through basic needs, and we have 44 households. So 44 of those students are using basic single stop. So that's pretty powerful. And we're working, the next one, we're working on this, and you're making this possible because of the strengthening the strategic grant funds. And Sarah and her team have done an amazing job at leveraging this and trying to showcase how students can use it in lots of different variations. This has reduced staff time on manual processes. That's a huge piece to basic needs, is helping students understand. And by allowing us to have this and get the information, we don't have to do that, tell me your story again and again with the student. This ensures that every student, regardless of their circumstances and regardless of their locale, has access to support. And I'll take any questions you might have.
Any questions for Sarah? I have one, if you don't, anybody doesn't. Thanks on clarifying with the staff. I did not realize that that's part of the ROI of this, then the savings in staff time and frustration, I'm sure. Do we have any evidence that it's helping student retention and completion?
So because we have single stop and now we have our full staff in the Center for Student Wellbeing, one of the projects that we literally just started was going back to every student that received basic needs support with a survey or a phone call to ask them, did this help? How did it help? Where did you see it help? We do have the data whether they stayed enrolled, right, but we have anecdotal data, but we want to get, the real data to show us, yes, this helped, or yes, this helps, but we need to raise that cap from 1,000 to 1,500 because 1,000 just isn't at the same power as 1,500 would be. So we're just starting that for this year.
I would imagine it'd be very interesting to see how it works between the different, whether it's online students, adult students, and so forth, and just how you have to adapt to that.
Trustee Cushman, that because this is a strategic plan grant, that metric is tracked, but it's too early in the cycle for it to be reported.
Figured as much.
Info.
I figured you'd want to get your fingers into it for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Sarah,
you.
any other questions? Anybody? No? Okay. Thank you, Sarah. We have a couple of resolutions. Dr. Wesley, professional service positions.
Good evening, everyone. I just have two. One is the AI and OER librarian. This newly created full-time position combines two strategic initiatives critical to FLCC's mission, which is advancing artificial intelligence literacy across campus and establishing a zero-cost degree program. This position is funded through SUNY grant funding as well as FLCC strategic plan grant funding and will be within Group B within the Professional Association. And the second role is the Student Health Manager, which is replacing the former Director of Student Health Services. This new title aligns with others within the unit. This is a college-funded position and is within Group B in the Professional Association.
Questions for Wesley? No? Thank you.
All right.
Dr. Ortloff, speaking of grants.
Does that work? Okay. Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, my fellow cabinet members, and our guests. I'm very excited, and doesn't happen all too often, to be here before you to recommend the administrative appointment of one of my most excellent staff members, Mr. David Walker, who is here along with all of the folks from APCI to support his administrative appointment. Since joining the college, Mr. Walker has brought his focus and intentionality in developing efficient and sustainable processes to the division. And I sent you a memo in which you can read lots of great information about that. But what I want to spend just a minute talking to you about is how David's ingenuity and his ability to keep solving problems is moving this college forward. When we first hired him a few years ago, he came in and dug in, helping us manage a lot of chaotic data in a time period that was in and of itself a little more chaotic, in the ends of the pandemic and all of that. And he didn't take very long before he came and said, "I think we're doing this all wrong." And I want to tell this story because it's not necessarily every person who in their first few months on a job will come up to their boss and say, "I think we're doing this wrong." And that takes, hello, and that takes a certain amount of courage, but it also takes exactly what we need, particularly in the world of data, in the world of problem solving, and in the world of re-engineering and reimagining what is possible. And that's what we're in the business of doing at APCI. And all of you have been along for this journey that we've been on to really start looking at and using data effectively in an environment that is not always super easy to solve and super easy to transform. So he came to us and he said, "We need to approach this differently. The way we're doing this isn't sustainable and it isn't going to get us where we need to go." And he made a great proposal to reimagine the way we were thinking about coding and storing our data, which, as you've heard about in the past, has resulted in the creation of a data warehouse. And we did not previously have a data warehouse. It is a common technique in the field, but we didn't have someone with the right expertise to figure out how that was possible until David came along. And he had the idea and the courage and the perseverance, one of our most important and my personal favorite of our college values, to say, this is how we're going to do it, and to keep at it. And it is an ongoing process. It is not something we end or say, "Hey, done, we're good, let's go home." We keep at it, and he keeps helping us get better at it. And for that, we are particularly lucky and grateful to have him here. In addition to all of the great work he does here, helping us think about our data, transform our data, make our data more accessible, he is also always ready to raise his hand and help. And this is another trait I truly admire and want here at the college. And that doesn't matter if I say, "Hey, we need to run an event and I need someone to make name tags. Sign me up." Or let me have someone to show students around on admissions day. Absolutely. He is here for it because, like many of us, he's mission driven. And that is exactly the kind of employee we need, we want, and we need to celebrate like we are today. Beyond all of this fantastic work, David is also a really valuable member of our greater community, and I will highlight one particular item. He is a robotics coach in Victor and has coached multiple levels of their robotics team, including the Lego robotics program. And that in and of itself, I think, speaks volumes of helping future data engineers become a part of FLCC, because many of those students will find a curiosity for problem solving that at some point David found, and we have benefited from it. So members of the Board of Trustees, it is with a great deal of personal pride that I recommend to you full academic and administrative appointment for Mr. David Walker. Thank you.
questions, comments from the board?
So you coaching the track team?
Are you coaching the track team too? I think that the insights were wonderful, and we don't, as trustees, we don't get to see that aspect, and it's really heartwarming to hear that. So thank you, David.
We're very lucky to have them. Thank you.
Dr. Avedis, you want to come join us again? And I've been looking forward to this, the adult learner profile, and you referenced it in your enrollment update, the shift in adult learners. So the deeper dive, I think, is well in order.
Okay. Stay. Okay. Hello again. Okay, better? No, maybe not.
Have to raise that up now.
It doesn't like me. There we go. Okay. So. Clicker. I shared this adult learner profile based on a fall 2025 snapshot with Cabinet a few weeks ago. And Dr. Nye invited me to share it with you because it has pertinence to the future. So I want to start by sharing that the profile is based on data collected via the Community College Survey of Student Engagement this past spring of 2025, as well as an adult learner survey that was developed by APCI and implemented in July of 2025 to adult learners who had been matriculated in the spring of 2025 and were registered for the fall of 2025. And then we followed that up with an adult learner focus group that was administered or conducted in November, this past November, that complemented the adult learner survey to collect qualitative data. And I will also mention that the Community College Survey of Student Engagement included a working student module. So specific questions were focused on students who were employed. So with that said, oops, that's not working, is it? Thank you. Okay. So why is this snapshot important and why does it matter now? As our fall enrollment report shared, adult learner enrollment ages 25 and older has increased 16% year over year, with part-time enrollment up 17.6%. Students over age 34 increased 22.6%, while under 20 enrollment declined. FLCC applied SUNY Reconnect funding to 320 students in November. So those were students who were matriculated in eligible programs this past fall. And the bottom line is adult learners are a central driver of our enrollment growth and stability. So who are adult learners? So they're disproportionately part-time, making up 44% of our enrollment. They're heavily concentrated in career-aligned programs, many of them SUNY Reconnect eligible, and they most often enroll to earn a degree, gain or update job skills, transfer, or pursue personal or professional goals. What they balance, and this is no surprise, work is a primary constant or constraint. 45% work 21 plus hours a week. Almost 52% say work determines full versus part-time status. 40% say work makes it difficult to take needed courses. They're balancing caregiving and logistics as well with childcare access needs. Students cite expensive childcare transportation challenges and housing costs as well. And then lastly, financial volatility, where 46% report that they are likely or very likely to withdraw due to finances. So what we are doing well, so the data we collected informed us that adult learners report strong academic engagement. They believe that they are receiving through their instruction a challenging academic environment. They demonstrate strong effort in meeting this environment, and they have positive faculty interventions. All of these are benchmarks, the Flcc benchmarks, and the mean is 50.0, so we are above average for those areas. In terms of respect and belonging, 85% feel respected and valued by faculty and staff, and 71% report feeling they belong at FLCC. All good in terms of feeling engaged and connected to the institution. Where our gaps exist, support access after 4:30 p.m. They report difficulty accessing tutoring and advising due to their work schedules. The support for learners benchmark in Flcc lags for that population as well. Course scheduling predictability. Work schedules make it difficult for them to take required courses, and students explicitly request more night and weekend options, and I'll speak to that more in a minute. In terms of peer connections, they're looking for active collaborative learning. That is a relative weakness on our end. They don't feel we're meeting that need, and they express interest in adult-specific cohorts or community spaces. Based on the data collected, there are 3 adult learner archetypes at FLCC. First one is work career shifter, which is aligned with SUNY Reconnect. These are individuals who are balancing over 30 hours a week in work, and their needs are predictable in terms of hybrid and online pathways. Many of them are in asynchronous online courses. The caregiver student is managing children or family demands and is highly sensitive to schedule shifts. And then the online commuter adult who is academically strong and is not particularly interested in co-curricular activities. Some potential high impact institutional moves on our part may be expanding evening and virtual access to advising, tutoring, and financial services, increasing predictable night and weekend course rotations and high demand programs, launching an adult learner cohort or community model, and targeting financial stop-out risk through proactive outreach and simplified processes along the course of the student life cycle. And I'll speak more to that in a minute. So I'm going to continue, and then I'll ask if you have questions. I have a handout for you.
There's no homework, is there?
Please, I don't need any
There's no
more.
homework.
It's a quiz.
Oh, good.
See if we were listening. Eh?
Right. I
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you much. Okay, so I have a caveat. This adult learner strategy roadmap is conceptual in nature. It is a draft. It has been shared with the SUNY Reconnect work group. That group will be charged with developing recommendations relative to a roadmap and identifying short and long-term goals related to adult learner support. Those recommendations will flow to the Strategic Enrollment Planning Steering Committee for further review, and then ultimately to Cabinet. So, and the last caveat is, based on the data that's been collected, adult learners have told us what they want, but their actions may not demonstrate those wants. So for example, they say they're indicating they would like more evening and weekend courses. Yet when they actually enroll, they find that managing that schedule may not be feasible, and then they gravitate to asynchronous learning. So there's more work that we need to do as an institution to really take a deeper dive in terms of what actually are their needs and how do we meet them and support their success. And we will be participating in a SUNY Adult Learner 360 survey this spring. The survey will be launched following spring break on March 30th and will be open for 3 weeks and will close on April 27th. The survey is in partnership with CALE. I think, have you heard of CALE? If not,
CAEL.
CAEL. And it's a very well-known organization. And we will be participating, as I said, this spring. The focus, there's 2 audiences that are targeted for the survey: adult learners, ages 25 in credit programs, with the goal of attaining a 20% response rate or 200 respondents, whichever is larger. And college employees, 20 to 30 college employees, faculty, staff, and administrators, regarding the quality and effectiveness not just of adult learner-facing practices, but also policy, data-driven decision-making, and change management. And this particular group will be invited to complete the survey with a goal of 100% completion. And CALE, by the way, is the Council for Adult and Experiential Learning. So we have the opportunity to include 2 customized questions in the survey to students. And I will be working with Karen Fisher of APCI to develop those questions. And I mentioned when the survey will launch. And then following the close of the survey, our report, we will receive a report from CALE approximately the week of May 10th. And then there will be a webinar with CALE approximately 2 to 3 weeks following our receipt of the report to discuss the findings. So there's an additional opportunity to collect data relative to adult learners, which we welcome. So in regard to the strategy roadmap, four strategies or pillars have been identified. They include access, pathways, belonging, and financial stability, and relate to the PowerPoint I just shared with you. I'm not going to walk you through this. This is for your information. And we will keep you posted based on the recommendations that come forth from the SUNY Reconnect Work Group and SEP. So there will be an update in the future as to where we are in implementing short and long-term goals to support adult learner success. So I'll ask if you have any questions.
Questions from the board?
I got a couple.
Yeah.
I think your closing comments and the outline probably begins to address one of the questions, which would have been, if we were to address these issues, what's the impact on the college in terms of staffing, budget, et cetera? So you'll get to that.
Well, that will be part of the review in
Yeah.
terms of developing the recommendations, in terms of identifying needed resources or other creative ways of meeting needs.
Okay. The other question I had was regarding the adult learners that we're trying to provide services to here. Has there been any assessment of the type of employment that those adult learners are in? Whether it's-
Currently in,
Yeah, like, retail, manufacturing, agriculture, et cetera. I didn't know if
I
we
don't
had a
believe so.
characteristic of that or not.
I do not believe so at this
Okay.
point in time.
Anything else, Jeff? Jeff, anything else?
No, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you want? No, I haven't. You don't have a question? Oh.
Yeah, I'm on.
So I know you mentioned, is this on? Yep. I know you mentioned childcare, especially in the evenings. Have we considered, I know that we have a childcare center and it's not very well used, but if we're gonna offer more evenings and Saturday classes to do a pilot drop-in program, I know that we could, I don't know how it would impact budget, but you could do a drop-in program for up to 2 hours a day without stepping into OCFS provider guidelines. So that might be something to consider.
So I need to clarify that that the current FLCC Child Care Center is full to capacity. And we have the highest number of students utilizing the services that we've had in a long time.
That's good to hear.
It is. I'm very happy about it. We just submitted a grant this past Friday to SUNY to apply for $200,000 in funding for evening childcare services. So we will see if that grant is supported, and we plan to move forward with that.
That's great to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Geis? No. Dr. Abetis, to Jeff's question about budget, I think before we get to budget, we have to have an understanding of scale. What do you see as far as the number of adult students that we'll have in the next 3 to 5 years? How is that going to continue to grow? Do we have any projections on that? I know that's it's always a educated guess, but it's really helpful to really figure out then what the budget would entail and be able to stress test that.
I believe that if SUNY Reconnect continues to be funded by the state, that we will continue to see adult learner enrollment grow. We are also hoping to add our former AAS mechanical technology program, which has been retitled and being reactivated under the title of AAS robotics and manufacturing technology. That will be an additional SUNY Reconnect eligible program. It's hard to say at this point, Trustee Cushman. We know that the traditional age market is not stable, particularly across the state. We are fortunate in Ontario County that we have 2 very strong school districts that are feeders to us. But the traditional age student enrollment is forecasted to decline and not rebound anytime in the near future. So we will continue to look at this. We work closely with APCI to develop term projections and then targets based on performance, past performance, real data by term. And we will have to begin forecasting for additional adult learner and understanding we've only really had 1 semester of SUNY Reconnect data thus far.
Right. And I think with certainly with AI coming into the workplace, there's going to be more adults that are going to be need
Correct.
to be so there's a number of factors, but I would encourage us to look at some sort of projections to understand what we think that growth might be. So Jason can then figure out what it's going to cost, because it's going to cost more with more part-time students. They all need a service.
Correct. There's no difference.
Yeah, exactly.
There really
So,
isn't. I mean,
right.
they
That's my
deserve the
point.
same
Thank you.
level of service as full-time
My
students.
point. So
And they're
you know,
paying the same fees.
Exactly. So I just emphasize we need to understand the scale that we will be facing so we can try to figure out what that impact will be on the budget. That's all.
Just to clarify, we
I do have a question now, George. It just occurred to me. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just to clarify, we do fairly extensive projections. Dr. Urbatus's area, Jason's area, my area, we collaborate on that. We have a fairly structured way of doing ongoing term projections. That being said, and certainly you are correct, there's a particular need to do more focus on adult learners. I think right now, what we're seeing in the projection is with the first semester of Reconnect, there's a basic mathematics that impacts the projection. When you have more adults, it predicts, you know, that changes the predictive model, but it's not very much data yet. It's a big unknown whether or not Reconnect continues. So that the sort of art and science of those projections will continue to be really important, as you're noting.
Can't find without them.
I also think it's a year-to-year type of activity, and there's some lessons we could learn by going back to history to the Great Recession, when we had to increase and we had to do things in different ways that Carol in particular was here for, in terms of how what we had to find innovative ways for new facilities, put temporary facilities up, and so forth. But you can react about year over year, maybe two, and we provided what the general overall adult learner increase was during for this 1 year. I think what folks are also saying, other than an increase of programs, it will plane out at a certain point. So that, you know, Carol, you had down here specific numbers. They'll probably plane out, but the question you had was valid in terms of when do we invest more in services to support those and add more faculty to do so. And we've done that, for instance, with the new robotics and engineering program, and also increase in healthcare by adding faculty to that right now. We're doing it in the moment pretty well, but your point's valid. What do you think it's going to be 2 years from now, type of activity? So it's something we need to look at.
You guys.
Carol, I was wondering, how are we attracting these students? I mean, you know, you have a really great thing for the traditional student, you know, going into high schools and all this stuff online. What are we going to do in the future to try and attract these non-traditional students?
Sure. Well, we have a very nice website for SUNY Reconnect. So we have distinct presence for SUNY Reconnect on our website. We are doing social media. Social media plus paid social media focused on the eligible programs. For the coming academic year, we are going to implement a direct mail campaign to all mailboxes that identify as having an adult age 25 and above in our 4-county service area. So, because I believe while it has been well publicized, it still is not widely recognized as an opportunity for adult learners who meet the eligibility criteria. So reaching out to them directly, I think, is a very important step in terms of our marketing.
So are all the adult learners in Reconnect?
Say that again?
No.
Certain programs. Are all of the adult learners
No.
in Reconnect? So
No.
it's not just Reconnect. it's
Correct.
Other, okay.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Although the largest gains seen in enrollment are directly related to SUNY Reconnect eligible programs.
Thank you very much.
You're
This has been a
welcome.
great conversation. Appreciate it.
Yes, appreciate your time.
And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn the Education and Planning Committee.
So moved.
Second.
And-
Yes, yes. Good evening. I'll open the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting. Welcome Trustee Russell to the meeting. And the first order of business is any comments or corrections to the February 4th committee minutes? If not, okay. Next item is an update on our operating budget. And Jason will review that for us.
Questions.
It's my eye test that I give to cabinet too, so. If you want, you can zoom up on the top of that. Oh, that's too much.
Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Are you guys good with that one?
Yeah, we're pretty good.
All right. This is results through January. So as you can see, we're up in revenue compared to the previous year. Again, a lot of the SUNY Reconnect. This does incorporate the spring enrollment. It continued into February. I think we're about 18.5 million right now as of the end of February in tuition. Some of that is because of the Gemini enrollment coming in sooner. That typically is in March. So overall revenue is on track. We'll probably exceed where we were last year. But again, we had predicted flat enrollment when we were doing the budget last year. Reconnect was still kind of, we didn't know what the impact could be. So hard to predict. But as we move into the budget season this year, we'll be having better numbers to help predict those. So questions on revenue? Expenses, trending well with expenses compared to budget. Not seeing anything unusual here. Supply and expense, there's a little bit of a timing difference when we booked prepaids last year to this year, so I would anticipate that to be catching up here as we get into February and March. So,
Any questions on the budget? If not, next item is accepting the auditor's report. I think we talked about this at the last meeting.
Yep.
The only comment I'll make was that the auditor had very positive comments about working with the college and the college being prepared for the audit. So thank you, Jason, and to your staff.
You're welcome. I know Randy's online, but we did have a clean audit opinion. No findings or no management letters. And so we have completed the financial statement audit. The single audit, which is related to our federal awards, will be completed hopefully in April. Not anticipating any findings there. So far, testing has went well. So we'll have that to present to the board hopefully in the May meeting. So.
Okay, any questions regarding the audit?
Just want to say that's, I just want to give credit where credit's due, because I remember before Jason came on, some really, really uncomfortable conversations with the auditors, and well done.
Yeah, my staff has done a great job as well, cleaning stuff up. Michelle D'Arduini is a staff accountant that does great work. She does a lot of the work in getting the support to the auditors and making sure that it's great, in great shape. And then the controller, Karen, came on right at year end and, took stuff on. But Michelle has done great work over the years getting the support needed to the auditors. So I can't take all the credit. I do have a great team that is helping me along with the audit. So
Okay, thank you. Do we need a specific motion on the auditor's report, or will the consent agenda approval be sufficient? Consent? Okay. All right, thank you. Next is a seeker approval for EV stations in parking lot A. And maybe just introduce this by giving a little background leading up to this.
yeah, so working with Jacom, who helped install the EV stations in G Lot. In partnership with Ontario County, they're also looking on Parish Street in order to install some EV stations.
Okay.
They did apply for a grant with the New York State Environmental, or I'm sorry, it wasn't. It was DEC and the RG&E Make Ready incentive in order to identify additional funding to install additional EV stations. Also utilizing the Inflation Reduction Act that's still active through June 30th, the federal government, this project will be paid for through all grant funding. There's a little bit of a cash outlay in the beginning from the college until we get reimbursed from the federal government. But I was successful in doing it in the last run, so I'm well versed in how to get the paperwork in.
How many stations are we?
There's 8 stations that will be going in.
Okay. Any comments or questions regarding that? Okay, if not, there's some informational items. You review that for us, Jason?
Yep. The first one is just to, we've renewed the bid for janitorial services in our Victor and Newark campus centers.
Okay.
Next one is lawn mowing and plant bed maintenance as we move into the spring at our Geneva campus.
Any comments, questions? Okay, if not.
And the last is just our budget transfer report, so nothing unusual there.
Okay, any other comments or questions in general? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So, thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Is there something?
Aye. We're adjourned.
Oh, Rich has.
Oh, Rich, I'm sorry.
Behind us.
No, I was just voting yes.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Assels. I'd like to call to order the March 4th, 2026 board meeting. And I'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda minutes and resolution.
So moved.
Second,
Second. George.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Is there any old business? Okay, Dr. Nye.
Good evening. I'm going to be brief. I sent you all my report. We have some transition to personnel that we'll be working on that you all are familiar with. So I won't go into any detail, but we're looking to fill in our positions. And that'll continue, but I see no major issues for the moment. I wanted to bring up the welding class that just graduated from Coach and Equipment Bus Company down in Penn Yan. That was the type of activity we're doing in workforce that is important for the future. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is we're still working on how we're going to use Pell Grant, short-term Pell Grant for those activities. There's still a lot of work that has to be done. I feel that the work that has to be done with the Pell Grant, short-term Pell Grant activities mirrors exactly what happened last year with the SUNY Reconnect, which was labor intensive for our staff. And we're going to try to do our best to augment, do what we can. But
It's going to be about the same type of thing. There was a lot of heavy lifting that went into the SUNY Reconnect, and it's going to be needed again for the
Pell short-term grant. And we may have to delay some of the things we do with the short-term Pell grants.
depending on how things go.
You know, there are a lot of activities that go on that we don't see behind the scenes. There are a lot of great work that fit into things like Dr. Arbedas talked about earlier, which is how you get students here. So the enrollment division hosted an event on President's Day that was not known by a lot of people, but brought in 184 guests and 90 prospective students to the college. So really good work done by a lot of great folks to put that together.
And things that go on.
I expect next month, even though I know the leadership we talked about not really needing a resolution to support Banner, as we're working through a conversion to go from a Lucian colleague to Banner SAS.
As we're putting together the information, we have general information.
But we'd like to get a little bit more and bring that back for a resolution that you all will understand that it's going to be a 3 to 4 year effort to get it accomplished. There'll be more resources that'll be needed to do it. But overall, the level of funding that SUNY's providing for us to go
and transition is really significant. It's a game changer.
We had looked at twice during my tenure of trying to move to Banner, and it was too expensive. Generally, it looks like they're going to put up around 2 million of support, and the cost structure is similar to the cost structure of the support services we have right now, which will make it a wash except for unanticipated costs, which there will be. I'm looking at our CFO there. And then also we will require more personnel to support
the transition during that time frame so that the staff can continue to do their job. But SUNY looked at 8 colleges, chose 6
to be able to participate in this. Our only partner in crime using the Lucian colleague, Onondaga Community College, is also going to do the transition, and we have agreed to work together in concert or parallel in terms of the process of moving forward. So we also have a teammate to be able to assist us.
Rest of our lead for folks to read, but I need to highlight 2 other things. One, yes, sir.
If I may, just on Banner, what I didn't understand in the report is you said it's a game changer. Why? What is it that it's going to bring?
I have a data expert right there who rose her hand before you could get done speaking. Deborah, please feel free.
Condensed version, if you would.
So one of the biggest problems with our instance of colleague is it is not an actual database. It's written in a language called Unidata, which is highly antiquated. It's not taught, and it is also not relational, meaning you can't build normal queries as you would in a standard database that any of you would interact with anytime you're sort of pulling data from something, even sort of behind the scenes. That creates a fundamental problem in staff recruitment, in security maintenance, and in data infrastructure. The other key problem is that because of this unique Unidata environment, for many, many, many years, predating anyone at this table or anyone in this room, the way that was handled from a data infrastructure perspective was to write custom reporting, creating all a non-database of custom fields. Yes, you totally get me. And the consequence of that is there's a problem sitting on top of a problem with trying to have new data queries and efficient data reporting for all aspects, whether it's running payroll, which is still an act of reporting data, or in my area, trying to produce a report for all of you to have good information from. It hits every aspect of how we run efficiently. We've managed, but this is going to be a much better, much more modern and contemporary way.
Totally get it now.
I think the other thing to add too is that, you know, SUNY's making an investment for 7 of us to work into this Banner SAS environment, with the hope that others will follow and add on to this. The goal is to create one community college template for this Banner SAS environment that we're all utilizing. That means we can now start sharing potential resources or ideas or thoughts and bringing us together under one umbrella versus everyone having a different instance. So there's a lot, I would say that's really exciting too.
Absolutely.
Is that a lot of us will be on the same system, working in the same instance that can continue to push community colleges forward. So.
That's good stuff. I think, sorry, Dr. Knight, but
No. It's a good thing. It's going to be a long haul. All right. Before I go to two things I wanted to say, not in my report, just to highlight that we do have, I try to do these reports under our values and strategic plan pillars. I would encourage you to review the iPads data that was the link that was provided. It's not the greatest data, but I wanted to highlight it for two things. You can at least compare very simply how our college is doing to any other college in the state and the country. And then you also have the academic momentum campaign that we'll be bringing up in the future in terms of progress of how we're doing in that aspect of sport, SUNY's goals. But and then to highlight one step further, hopefully, Deborah, you haven't gotten it yet, that I don't think, but Richmond Federal Reserve data should be coming in the very, very near future. If you didn't already get it, you just didn't tell me and are digging through
No,
it.
we haven't gotten it yet.
But hopefully it will be a better way to really look at how we measure ourselves and what we're doing.
Far better. There are two things I need to highlight that are not on my report. The first one I need to apologize for because it's really big. We have a big event going on in this campus now that a lot of people don't know is going on, but it's important. It's our nursing accreditation, and they'll finish up tomorrow. And so far, it looks like they've done an exceptional job. And there was a lot of hard work by our nursing department, academic staff, Dr. Ortloff's folks to be able to put together that visit. And it looks like it's going very well. So congratulations to the nursing department ahead of time for some great work that they did and the folks to help support them for that.
Yep, knock on wood. I said I had a plan, but it's pretty good so far.
It is excellent.
And finally, on March 30th, we will be hosting the
Ontario, we just got this information the other day, the Ontario County new supervisors. So Fred, I believe that's 10
new supervisors, and we intend to provide them, it's their orientation that's about the college. And the county wishes to have part of that orientation be, they'll do it here in stage 14. They'll provide what the county believes is the mission and the things they should know from the county perspective. Then we get to provide the college our perspective and what we do. And then finally, we intend to do the same thing we did for the supervisors last summer. We'll take them upstairs and show them the technology that we're using to help teach our students. So they get a hands-on demonstration of what their college is doing.
What day is this, Rob?
March 30th. It'll be in the afternoon. Make sure you get a notification for it so that if you wish to stop by, you can stop by.
It's a large class.
Yep. And subject to any questions, that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Nye. We'll go through committee and liaison reports.
Hey, Rich.
Hello, thanks for letting me jump in here, but I wanted to take Dr. Nye's report and his last comment that the Adult and Community Education Director has finally broken through to the Ontario County Correctional Facility, and we're going to be offering high school equivalency and GED inside the facility. I think that's just it's a major win. When I came 16, I think I think we all had an idea that we needed to have that inroad into the jail to help inmates who really truly want to break out get a chance to do that, and we're doing it now. So I salute Dr. Nye and our community education director.
Well, all the credit goes to Dr. Ortiz's staff and that community education director. She's doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, Trustee Russell.
It's been 30 years coming.
Trustee Iman, student trustee report.
We had our spring transfer fair today. Over 25 four-year colleges and universities were here to talk to our students. So that was a big success. Mascot Madness is coming up, so we're working on promoting that and getting a lot of votes for our mascot in. SUNY SA is coming up next month, so that's where student government from all the SUNY colleges get together and we get to collaborate, learn, and network with each other. We have elections coming up in a month and a half. We're asking students kind of what they know about student government and if they're interested or not, and how better we can connect with them so that we can get more engagement with student government. We're also working on trying to send out an online survey for strictly online students to see what they would like to see from our student activities committee and student government, to see how we can better connect with them and bring them into the fold so that they don't feel that they're not part of the college. Also, we have a new director position that was this academic year, the online engagement director. So we're kind of trying to figure out her position, and does she need more manpower, brain power, financial support so that she can reach more of our online students. And that is my report.
Very good. Thank you. Trustee Astles, audit and ERM.
No, our work is done.
Work is done. Thank you. Trustee Cushman, personnel.
Nothing to add right now. We have a meeting coming up.
Trustee Cushman, NYCCT liaison.
All right. Well, Faircast is going to be sharing tomorrow our latest monthly report, and there's a lot of important stuff in there, and I'd really encourage you to look through it. Some action items, and not Dr. Nye, but oh, there you are. Dr. Nye, I would like to work with the students, or not the students, I think probably with Bree regarding alumni. We're trying to capture videos with clips of success stories from FLCC. So I'll be reaching out to Bree on that with you're okay. On education, we are doing some more work with student trustees across the system. They've been very active with us this year, and I have tip to Haisha, who has been without question a leader among the trustees, student trustees across the state. So thank you for that. We have an educational module coming up with SNAP employment and training, untapped opportunity for community colleges. I encourage folks to listen, and there's some pretty interesting stuff out of that coming up. We are going to do our spring convening on April 24th at Dutchess Community College. That is a small business meeting, but there will be also some very, very good stuff. Dr. Van Wagner from Mohawk Valley is going to do a piece on really kind of the changing stresses that exist within the community colleges right now. So I think that'll be fascinating to listen to. He does these on a regular basis, and he's really good at it. And next spring, we're going to be announcing next spring, and our executive committee, without my involvement, want to have it at FLCC. And Dr. Nye, if that's okay, I'll let them know that we'll look at that for next year and have the spring convening here.
I think my bosses would support that.
We had a lobby day in Albany, and Haisha was there. We had Donna was there from our group, and we had a lot of folks there, and it was very, very useful. It was all coordinated, and we worked together with SUNY, but we also had CUNY in there. So it was probably we got comments from from the folks we met with, the leadership of the Higher Education Committee, Toby Stavisky, saying, I've never seen SUNY and CUNY working together before. And that's really NYCCT that's pulling that together. We do have our budget priorities laid out. these are listed in here. There's also a template letter for you to send to your representatives, and those are listed on our website. So you can actually go to click on FLCC on the map and then see who your representatives are, addresses, all that stuff. So it's right there for you. Encourage you to send those letters and so forth. We had a successful National Legislative Summit in DC. It's been a very busy month. This is why I missed so many other things recently. I did testify at the Higher Education Joint Budget Hearing. The testimonies in this, it's embedded in there. If you want to watch it, heaven forbid, it's in there too. I want to shout out to faculty, the faculty union, NYSUT, I said, has adopted our, endorsed our ask for increased funding. And this is the first time that we've had that happen. And we've got a good, positive, productive relationship with NYSUT. And they, on their website, they have an action item, and that you can see how that works. And you can see that there's been, I think, well over 3,000 teachers from across the state have endorsed and sent in letters now. So our 300 community college trustees will add to that. And I just want to emphasize that the award nominations are coming up, and you've been active on that committee. Thank you very much. But if there's a trustee, business partner, alumnus, this is something that I may speak with Bree about also because of the business relationships we have in the community. So we'd really like to get some applications in. Jeff was there last year, was honored, and it adds prestige and to the college if we have folks coming from our school that get accepted. So with that, I conclude my overly lengthy.
I'll let you take a
update,
breath. You
but
got one more to do.
It's been a lot of, it's been a busy month.
Trustee Guys Foundation.
We're just gearing up for V&V, and I assume shortly something will come out on the golf tournament.
Thank you. Trustee Cushman. Last one, Student Corp.
I have nothing to report on student report. I was too busy with all this other stuff. PCT. But I'm looking forward to it. We've got a meeting coming up in a week.
Okay, how about a motion to adjourn then?
I'll move that.
You have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned.
To
Quietly. Nope. No.
I guess we're gonna go on.
Everybody thinks something else is going on.
People are used to getting sentenced.
I'm stunned. I don't know what to do.
I wanted to go out with a record.
You might have got one. Yeah, definitely 10.
Yeah, probably do that. Meeting Syracuse tomorrow, so tonight or late tomorrow. Just
Yeah,
send it.
you got an executive session.
Oh, here, Don said no executive session.
Oh, okay.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
Proceeds the executive.
It's on the agenda.
No need.
Don't make a change.